3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Conversion Code Podcast. My name is Travis Halverson. This is actually the second episode in a row, that I've been on. Was the last episode me, or did we do one between us? Oh no, I was gone. So they did one when we were gone.
Yeah, we don't involve you too much anymore.
Yeah,
But actually. Honestly, that's cool because, dude, you start getting to the point of like people below me are doing the work that I do. You know,
it's gonna laugh.
You're not becoming the product anymore, man.
Yeah, you limit yourself when you become the product, which you keep laughing about all the time. And no, that's actually a funny topic about
Sorry, let me go back. Why I'm buzzing is because of Tim Grover. What did he say? If you're not bringing the damn energy, you're not bringing anything in your day, man. That's the first thing he started. Chris, he made us get up. Everybody did like a little, like he came on stage and he goes, are you kidding me? He goes, do you know who I am? Said it kind of like that way. He goes, I'm going to go back and we're going to redo this.
That guy's a legend, dude.
Yeah, and so he went back. And then
he was Michael Jordan's coach, right?
Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Like fitness coach.
He went
disgusting.
Came back in and the whole crowd just like lit up. And he's like, that's like energy, guys. You're bringing energy every day. And I know it's not easy in this world. But
dude, if I ever get the chance to just speak solo, I'm going to start with everybody standing on their feet, and then I'm going to end with everybody standing on their feet. So when they start clapping, it's like I had a walking off ovation. It's like fire.
So you're copying. Andrew Doran's going to tell you what a copier you are.
Every single, hey, dude, they do
Andrew
it right.
Doran, he had everybody stand up, and they started going like this, and he goes, I've never had a standing ovation in my life. But he told them to start clapping, so.
No, I do love that. No, it's,
Dude,
good. I'm glad you're buzzing.
If you're on stage by yourself, that will be awesome. I never want that. Because I will poop my pants.
No, you won't. It'll be fine.
Dude, you're just the one that just stared. Like you didn't even shake up there, dude. Chris, we didn't tell you, and we're talking to Chris over here, but talking to all of you guys, we had there was an agent.
Oh, dude, I love him. He's actually so nice.
He's amazing, but that's what would happen to
Top
me.
agent, social media, dude, solo agent, kills it on social.
His mouth got sticky though,
dude,
on stage.
Dry. I thought he was gonna throw up on stage, and he thought he was gonna throw up. He goes, "I'm so sorry. Like I can't like."
But he can talk to the camera all day long. And I'm
millions
like,
of people watch his videos, dude. He is fire on social media. But the thing is, like, in front of 1,300 people, he just couldn't.
Different.
Oh, I love him. He was great, though. But it was funny because it was me and Ryan were coming down the elevator the morning that he was supposed to speak, and we were talking to him. And I'm like, he was like, you spoke last year. I'm like, yeah. I was like, he's like, how was it? Was it fun? I was like, yeah, no, it was great. Like, I was super nervous my first time. Like, it was my first time ever speaking. And I was like, there was like 1,000 people in the audience. And I was like, really scared. And then he was like, oh, no, I'm super hyped, not nervous. He's just like, I'm pumped. And I'm like, dude, you're going to crush it. I'm super excited for you. Saw him multiple times throughout the day, like passed him in the hall on the way to like go to the speaking event. And he's like super jazzed. You could tell, get us up on stage, dude, just shut down. I'm like, no, bro, I'm so sorry. Saw him after the fact, gave him a hug. And he was like, nah, it's all good. Everybody after, though, was really kind and really sweet because, I mean, everybody's been there before. I mean, the first time speaking ever is just going to be insane. Like, that's just – but first time ever in front of 1,300 of your peers or the people that, like, look up to you, that's terrifying.
It's hard.
Like, there's people in the crowd that have done billions of dollars worth of GCI. It's just, like, insane amount, and it's just, like, you feel like a peon in a sense, and you're just like, dude, how am I supposed to impact these people? It's like
People
scary.
bitch about their views on Instagram. They're like, only 500 people saw my stuff. It's like
that's a lot of people. Yeah, 500 people.
Dude, that's such a great way to think about it. And it's always funny because like they were talking about there's like a super good agent down in like Florida, Ken Pozak. His views like on his videos and stuff, like is it Ken Pozak?
Yeah, I think
Pozak.
it is,
Yeah, he just came back to KW. But the thing was like his YouTube videos only get like 1,000, 2,000 views. Some of them do, and it's just like, do you realize that's 2,000 potential people that might potentially buy real estate?
And that's why it's direct with
like,
him.
What?
But that's what it became is like a lot of people on like Snap or on TikTok and stuff were building such a big following, but there were nobody living in their local market.
Yeah,
and so that doesn't help you.
Dude, you start building a massive referral network at that point. I mean, you could become that guy. Like, I want to talk to that guy. I was like, hey man, I have someone who's going to buy a home in like Kentucky, and it's like, awesome. I'm in Michigan, so like that's exciting. But you can still help them. That's the cool part about real estate. You can build relationships all over, and the referral network part of the business is insane. You know, there's agents that are like $1 million agents that literally are just exclusively referral agents. Yeah, I never realized that, but it's awesome that they do that.
It's insane.
But let's go back. We just came back from FubCon. Buzzing. I got to speak. It was exciting. Thank you so much, Stacy Soleil, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Livian reason they got me put on stage just to speak again. So it's super exciting. One thing I love to say is that like I always hide behind the shield of I'm just an ISA, but it's like interesting to see that I was the only ISA on stage speaking.
Interesting.
And that's what like Preston was talking about. He's like, dude, you're in the room with all these top guys. He's like, you're not just an ISA, man. Like
I know.
you say it a lot, but like you don't realize like
I think someone even said, it's like, dude, you're an ISA and you're on stage. You should be lucky, because there's no one that has like a renowned name as being an ISA. They're always kind of stuck behind everybody else. You know what I mean? Like didn't you say it last week? You're like the lineman, the most important guy.
Oh, dude. An ISA, I feel like as an ISA, you feel like you're the offensive lineman in a sense. It's like the most like low key position. They don't get all the guts and the glory and stuff. But the thing is like they're the most important position. You know what I mean? It's like they're the people that are really your first line of defense towards anything. Like they're the keeper of the leads in a sense. Like they tee up opportunities for agents. They help the client and they help the agent become like financially successful. So it's super interesting concept to think about. And it's like, I'm not going to say like I'm some big name person, but the thing is like I love the ISA position. I'm so passionate. And I was on the training talking to the ISAs and I was just like, I used to think that my standards and like my principles and like my expectations out of other ISAs, I used to think that it was like my expectations were too high. And I'm honestly so past that, the point of thinking expectations are too high. It's like you level up where you get out of that position. Yeah. Like if you can't do this, like I'm not asking you to do a lot. You know what I mean? Like I'm asking you just to sit at your desk for 8 hours straight. Yeah. You call, text, email, you talk to these people on the phone, you set appointments. Like it's not hard. Like it really, really, really is not hard. Is it a burn and is it a grind? Yes. But can you make $200,000 plus a year as an ISA? Absolutely, dude. And it makes no sense why people don't want to be more of that. But I get it. It is mentally draining sometimes because you are battling past no. Like every no you get is just one step closer to another yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think, in going a little deeper, I sound like the little therapist psychology guy here. It's like when you kind of find
Travis, lay down.
No, when you find out though, it's like really how people start to think with that, Travis, though, is the simplification is the only reason why you've only been able to do that, man. And that comes back to a lot of the things that we're going to discuss, guys. Like, we're not doing you a service if you're listening to this and you don't have a tangible thing to take away.
Yeah, of course.
And so we're going back to a lot of things at FubCon and understanding. And again, it's after every conference people do this, right? And Travis is going to tell you a term that somebody always like says, and then they don't end up. You're like, why would you be changing your business?
Yes.
It's like, what was the term?
Oh yeah. So no, yeah. I mean, John Cheplack said it perfect, man. He was just like, why are we going back to basics, right? Why would you ever have to say, let's get back to basics? Why did we ever go away from our basics? Mm-hmm. Like what got us away from our basics? Mm-hmm. We should never have to do that if we just stick to our core principles and our core standards. Yep. We should never get away from our basics. And it's so right. And the thing is like, it's so simple. It's like the easiest
we just
concept.
Have to become naive again almost, man. Like, it's like the brain that we have too much information. It's information overload. I mean, Chris, you probably see that a lot of, like, in the social world. It's like, what are the strict things that you're going to focus towards? But you even see with these like little YouTube guys that are like 16, 18 years old and they make like 50 grand a month. And like, what do they do? And their simplification is just the same freaking play over and over and over again, and then somebody else is doing it. Now they're jumping one other step to start doing something that they mastered more and more and more again. You know what I mean? Yep. But that person down below, guess what, is never stopping what they're doing.
Yep.
And that's like the concept of canary, Travis. And like, I'm realizing just a lot of the flow and everything that we talk about always leads into this notion that no matter, how are you getting those big successes? Even these people that you look at FubCon, I think it becomes annoying is that people are always like, it's just the biggest people up on stage and the most, the highest influential people. And I'm like, yes, but what did they do to get successful there is that they ran consistent plays. They were consistent. They were fluid. They were, they stuck to what they were really good at. And that is just going back to people more and more right now. The market sucks. Like Tom Freda says, guys, stop saying, like, it's not to say stop working, but it sucks. You know what I mean? So, like, look at things of simplifying, like Travis says, the ISA position, everything. Try it for a little bit. Get into a routine with it. Then you can complicate it. The problem with this industry, man, we complicate it right away, and then we run. And I think that we did that as a fail, man. We learned as young stallions in this little industry. I have to say,
he's called us a stallion.
Stallions. We learned, Travis, that we were too much for people at first, right?
Oh my God!
But then we don't realize the simplification that we just ended up. But then you end up talking to these people, and they go, Ryan and Travis, you were just saying that same thing over and over again, and you get what I'm saying?
Well, you say it 7 times, and someone actually retains it,
right? And I think that's where agents, though, or even business owners in real estate, just don't want that, though.
Oh, for sure.
They try to get so past it, to swim so fast, so quick, and it's like, why? we just did ourselves a disservice. So
Yeah.
sorry that I go down bad.
No,
That's
no,
just,
you're
like, my
good.
path
And
that I've
well,
seen.
the thing is like, and it's always funny because like when we went to Mega Camp, like there was the Gary Keller like CEO mastermind, and he talked to, and I think I've said this quote before, but it was between him and Tony DiCello, and it says the secret is consistency. They do the same thing every day, and that was from Tony. And then Gary Keller said that's boring, and then Tony came back with, "Yep, I tell my clients the more boring you are, the richer you are." And I can't tell you how many times I've actually said that, because the thing, it's true. It's like, if you do the same consistent action over and over again and you get success from it, why wouldn't you just keep doing that? Double down on it. You know what I mean? It's like, just double down on it. Keep going. Keep doing it. Same repetitive
weird
action.
As a human, dude.
Oh, yeah,
I think,
for sure.
You know, I just think because, like, again, the information overload, that we just always think there's one extra thing or more and more. Like one extra thing you can always just be doing on top of it, but you're like, you haven't mastered the structure from the beginning.
Oh, for sure. And no, I mean, it's interesting to see, because there was like a lot of really good speakers at FubCon, and there's a lot of really cool things that are coming to Follow Up Boss, the CRM. And
Huge.
It's going to be interesting. Like, I mean, there's like the new like messaging inbox, like the new automations 2.0. I know there's like that new contact card that you can send, but I mean, there's a lot of cool, interesting things as like a CRM, in a sense of like, man, it's a big player in this space. You know what I mean? There's like 95,000 like users that use Follow Up Boss as a CRM. And the funny thing is talking about simplification, everybody's always asking me like, well, what do you do every day? There's so much noise in real estate. How do you like fade all that stuff out? How do you push that stuff out?
I felt that when I was there too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But the thing is, like, the one thing that all those people probably do that were at FubCon is the number one step that we always tell all of our agents, which is log into your Follow Up Boss.
Yeah.
If you're a daily active user and you log in every single day, that's one step closer to success.
Yeah.
But that's how simple it is. There are people that just don't even log in to their CRM. How do you expect to sell houses if you don't log into your CRM?
Yeah.
I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you see that with the training sometimes, because they look at, they've been thinking about something for so long, and you're like, oh, it's just like right here, and you had to do that, and they go,
Oh, you're
you know
right.
what I mean? And it's like, no, but I come on, we all do it, because it's just that things can go so fast that you don't slow yourself down to that position. You know, but again, it's getting back in the tangible things, guys, when we kind of keep talking about simplification, and why we always go back to simplification. It's so hard for us to battle that as humans, but that's where a lot of the concept of where, you know, connection and conversion coaches like Travis and I think I've started to use this word a little bit more. Guys, Travis and Ryan, or guys like us, will not teach people how to really close deals.
Oh yeah, dude.
I think we've started to figure that out more, is that we will find a way for you, and the hardest thing that agents to do is to connect right away. The first connection piece, because that's sometimes the abnormal things as a human that you're doing, and you're like, that doesn't seem right, Travis, that you just texted that person 3 times.
Yeah.
But you're like, but in the world of noise, I can only do things 3 times because I will never be noticed.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
No, it's true.
Like, you look at, I mean, Chris, social, if you did it 1 time, what happens? Great, cool.
You
right?
did it once.
Like 1 time, but then you did it twice, a little bit. I even see it with our social. Like, we all do it just a couple times, but then you look over the guy and you're like, why am I not getting that?
Same thing as text and email templates, in a sense. I'm like, hey, if this client said, or this lead, this customer basically says to me, who is this? And it's like, I say my name is Travis Halverson, yada, 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 this is who I'm with. I know I'm going to have to send that like 500 more times at a certain point. So why wouldn't I just make that a text template?
Yeah.
If I know that I've said the same thing multiple times, like I talked to client A, I talked to client B, I've said the same thing to client A and client B, put that into a text template.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just make your life easier. You shouldn't have to write out that same text message. Just work smarter. You know what I mean? It's just simplification, just simplifying every step of the process to become easier and easier for you. And just to go back to your point about relationships and stuff of like what we do, is you're right. Like we're not closers in a sense, but
well,
I will find you
language
opportunities.
and freaks out though, dude. But like, you know, but that's where you have to differentiate. If you're in a database, guys, right now, and you're just like, I don't know what's going on. Get it? You're all saying that. I don't know what's in here, what's going on. Travis, the biggest step that you've allowed me to overcome, and I don't overthink this part of it anymore, though, is finding those people that you first just write a template that you connect with.
Yep.
Because the connection template is so vague and so non-salesy.
Yep.
That it's just, and I even think I read back it over. I think I thought it always said, like, are you buying in this certain time frame? It's, what are your real estate plans? Connection.
Oh yeah.
Connect with them.
Well, that's why everybody asks, they're just like, Travis, what's the difference between a buyer and a seller? I said nothing, because I don't know if they're a buyer or seller.
So, yeah,
you don't even know.
Even from the lead source sometimes, if it's coming from the lead source, like, again, like they still, but they're looking, even on the internet, they're looking to buy, but they do have the thing to sell.
Yeah, they do have a sell. Yeah, that's the crazy
Right?
thing. And it's like the interesting thing is when someone comes in and they always say, what were they talking about at FubCon? Someone was talking about the fact, like the registration in a sense. It's like, hey,
Forced,
do
yeah.
you have, like, for instance, like, do you have to sell before you buy, in a sense?
Yeah,
People
that's
will
it,
say
yeah.
no to that.
Yeah.
But then underneath it, it will basically say, like,
Yeah,
do you want to
Barry,
use,
Barry.
was it Barry?
They changed the questions from, do
It's
you have
so
a home
smart.
to sell before, or do you need to sell before you buy? And then they got some skewed data. They thought it was good, but then it was, do you need to use the home,
The equity,
in your home?
equity of your home into buying the house. And then people would say yes to that. So it's like, you don't have a house to sell. So because they don't want to be bothered and pushed as a seller. But the thing is, they always said yes, the fact that they would use the equity of their home that they're actually having to sell, that they just said no to.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, so it actually is a seller instead of a buyer. Like, it's just crazy to think about how language can really throw people off, in a sense.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm going to say no. They won't know that I actually have a house to sell, but I'm going to say yes. I actually am going to use the equity of my house that I sell to buy another home. So now they will have no idea.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
But the thing is as real estate professionals, like, we understand what they mean. You know what I mean? Like, people, the average consumer thinks that they're trying to pull a fast one, but we're just like, dude, we can read between the lines, man. We understand you're a seller. You have a house to sell. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But I say, so the tangible thing is connection, guys. If you got people in your database that, again, you look at that person and you maybe even look at a filter and you look at the last time they talked to you and you've never connected with them, start with a very vague template of what are your real estate plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your real estate plans? And then let me tell you, things need to be done 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
3 times, maybe even over different 3 forms of communication. So look at that. That's text,
Always
email,
do 3
and
forms
that's
of
text, email, and
communication.
phone, right? So you have to know that when you connect, though, with that first initial text, what happens next over email can be the same exact template that you used over text, and then you can give them a call just to know that the call went through.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, when you're still connecting, don't call.
No. Yeah.
Try not to call. Try to do these 2 right now, but do those 2 for 3 days. And you said, well, Ryan, what do I say the next day? Hey, did you see that did you get my text that I sent you yesterday? Just following back up. Ryan, what's the third one? Third one's the last one, is the holy grail of just, hey, I just wanted to follow up. Just make sure I'm not dropping the ball. Have you been seeing the properties I've been seeing, and let them show and give them property search that you can continue their behavior if something happens. But that person now goes to long-term nurture, right? At that point, it's not, do not say that person's not a lead, guys, right? With the connection piece, like, do not get that person out of your world. Unresponsive. They have not changed, right, Travis? Like, in reality, it's not a bad person. They're not a terrible person. They're not a bad lead. We just need database health. We got to say they're just unresponsive right now. We didn't catch them at the right time.
Yep.
That's what's pretty crazy. Because when I was talking with Nikki, I love her, and I looked at her, and she goes, but Ryan, every time I get on the phone, I just catch them at the right time. And she goes, the virtual partners are texting email. I said, what if they catch them at the right time? And she's like,
The way you just whispered.
because she went like
fucking
this.
threw me off.
She just went. I was like, dude, they text or email at the right time, then it's the right time and it's the right form of communication for them, Nikki.
No, I get it.
Right.
It's the whole thing about asking permission, and that's why it's like when everybody's like, "What are your scripts? What do your scripts sound like?" My script sounds like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was talking about this the other day. It's like, in my mind, there's like an imaginary bar next to the name of every single lead in our database, and it's like, one text message sent is like 1%. Like one phone call made is 1%.
You got to get to 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
100%.
like one email sent is 1%, but like one text message back is 15%. One email reply is 15%. One phone call answered is 15%.
I'd give those ones you're sending out like a 0.5.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a busy
no,
noise.
for
Right? These
sure.
agents like, I did so much today.
For sure.
Outbound.
No, and it's interesting to see because it's always funny because it's just like, that's just how I treat it. It was when I was training the ISAs, they were asking me, like, hold on a second, show me where that bar is. Just like, no, that's an imaginary bar. Like, that's just how I look at it. It's like gamification, like with your own system in a sense. There's the leaderboard in Follow Up Boss that shows you it, but like I have my own gamification of like, hey, each lead, all right, this lead's 30% to be turning into an appointment. This lead is 50% to turning into an appointment. This lead's 75. Like, this person's 99. If I send this text message right here and they reply, that'll be 100%. And I
Damn,
can set an
dude, you
appointment.
just sold a business on this.
Just don't tell anybody that.
Damn, that was fire.
We got to delete that, dude.
That
Someone's
was
going to do
fire.
that inside of FUB.
No,
Maybe we can guess Justin Benson to
No, because that's what
Think he would?
Reevaluate's making money off of the information,
score, the likely score,
of their Google information and what they're receiving. It's like, what if we gave him a score? Yeah, Justin probably got that in his little integrated app.
Oh, yeah, that would be insane. I think that'd be
1%,
great.
Like, you got a point, but again, it's like your point system. But everybody can create their own thing. But again, going back real quick, connection, though, guys, why we talk about connection is because we don't need to teach anybody relationship. If you don't know how to build a relationship, you belong in a ditch. Right? If you don't know how to talk, like, again, like agents are always looking at us. Like, again, if somebody's talking back to you, hopefully you know how to talk back to them. Again, I know sales comes involved and different things like that, but I think the sales piece is the connect piece, right? You know, I haven't worked in call centers and stuff like that. Would you say this connect piece is the sales piece a little bit?
Yeah,
because it's a piece that's abnormal, and you're like, I'm gonna do that 3 times. The relationship is like, you knew when you got them on the phone, you're fine, you're good, ready to go. Just like agents, we know Zillow, all these sources. You get on the phone, we know you're all good. But then again, I want to get rid of them depending on other things instead of just being able to run their own machine. Yeah, I think that's a lot of times when looking at it. But they're like, Ryan, you know, Zillow does it better. Just maybe own it yourself and see how you can do it, because then you can do the same thing.
John answered the phone when he called me. He goes, I'm going to start calling you PPC Travis. Just like, I thought he said TCP Travis. I was like, John, I do everything by the book. There is no violations that I do. Travis. He goes, no, I'm talking about pay-per-click. I was like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah. You can call me that all you want.
Why? Is that the way you always
Because I was arguing with him about Zillow because he built Zillow Concierge and he thinks it's the greatest thing ever. It's not, John. It is though. It's actually made a lot of money. But well, anyway, this has been has been good.
It's gonna lead into the next though, guys. Because I think the next thing we want to talk about is a lot when going into these databases, when we're trying to connect and we get it, then you're gonna start talking and yelling at us and going, Ryan, I'm trying to connect, but this person's my sphere. This person's my past client. This person's closed. This person's the center of influence. Those 4 things all have something very similar in common, right? But we all just confuse them of what to do with them because we've been told so many different things of what to do with them. Sometimes you can consolidate some of those things, right? As closed. When does closed eventually become a past client? When does a past client become? Is it ever a sphere? I don't know.
Oh man, that's a whole different rabbit hole. Well, anyway, we appreciate you guys. Thank you again. You can press the little button. Which one is it?
To go out.
Yeah, to go out. Is that it? No. That one? No. Where's our music? There it is. There it is. Thanks again for come and join us for Conversion Code Podcast. My name is Travis Halverson, and is Ryan Nutter.
Buzzing.
Yeah, we could tell.